Ustream.tv FreeTruth, then you should see Glyn and I on cam live, and I'm recording it this time, so hopefully we should be able to also take some questions from the chat. Maybe, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, sure.
Cool. Joe may be joining us tonight from Joe Scanlon, so hello to Joe. Hello Joel.
Hey Joey boy.
Hey. And hello to Neil. Neil Foster from the Sovereign Independent. Hope you're all well, and a man of integrity, absolutely.
Yeah.
So we wish him every support, no doubt about it. Also, RBN, Republic Broadcasting Network, they're in dire straits almost, and they're asking for money, and it's the station that Alan Watt from CuttingThroughTheMatrix.com broadcasts on. They are struggling at the moment, and as Alan Watt said the other night, you go to switch on the radio one day and it just won't be there. So please donate as much as you can to help Alan Watt and RBN. And donate to the Free Truth Show if you can as well. We'll just have a look at the quick chat box there. Say hello to everyone in the chat box. Hello to everyone in the chat box. Cajun Miracle and Jeff Green, and thank you Kat for your production skills this evening, and Zeeks. Not a lot of people here at the moment because we're starting a little early. We did start a little earlier tonight, but we're on till 10, so we've got like 2 hours, 15 minutes to cover quite a bit. We've got some documents and some research here that Glyn's been looking at and compiling, and a lot of the stuff we talk about will just be in our heads.
Yeah,
how long have we been looking at this stuff?
Most of it, quite a long time now.
Yeah.
Not so much the stuff with BLUEBEAM. Obviously, we're covering tonight. I mean, that's quite recent for me.
Yeah, me too.
Comparing the amount of time it's been, it was exposed. 96, wasn't it? I think the first time that it actually was exposed.
Yeah, as it says there. Yeah, we're looking at some. Sorry, I've forgotten his name. Manast.
Sergey, wasn't it? Sergey Monast.
Sergey Manast.
Pronunciation.
Yeah. Should we start with BLUEBEAM?
Yeah, we could do that.
What is it?
BLUEBEAM basically is a technological attempt to basically manipulate mankind into believing in an antichrist by destroying the basic belief structures of religion, all the world's religions. And it's basically its origin is from NASA. I think it was basically NASA funded, the whole idea of of basically manipulating people on this global scale with holographics.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a serious ordeal.
Holographics, meaning they can project images onto the sky.
Yes. Yeah.
And BLUEBEAM says that they may pretend that that's real and not tell the public.
Yeah, that's right. Right.
So what kind of things think they may project? What's the
from the research that I've done, it will purely be images of a spiritual and mystical nature that relate to the prophecies of old, of the religions of old. All the common archetypes, all the prophets, Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, etc.
Yeah.
So
all the major players,
basically, that everybody has. If you are a believer in any one of those religions, that's the central symbol that people worship, that people look up to for a sense of hope and a sense of peace eventually, because they believe that these figures will deliver them that sense of freedom, which is really another lie, I believe, in itself. Because freedom comes from within, essentially, doesn't it? We set ourselves free. We can be inspired by these figures, but ultimately it's the individual that sets himself free, and others.
So that goodness in mankind, striving for the humanity in himself, and helping other people, the Good Samaritan, etc. That's going to be the good nature of people. That's going to be exploited if a false image of Jesus Christ comes down on a chariot of fire, etc., or Buddha. That's going to be exploited. It'll cause, if it happens and it's real, there's certainly a lot of evidence to suggest it is, cumulative evidence and research, then it's chaos.
Yeah,
religious fervour
it would cause
on acid.
Chaos. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, I think regardless if people believed it or not, there would be chaos.
It's coming anyway.
So
there's multiple chaos coming.
This is the danger. This is
and we're not trying to fearmonger people, are we?
Not at all. Not at all. We're not doing that.
This is what is emerged. That we say the scientists are talking about doing.
Yes.
The technology does exist.
Yes, it's existed for a long, long time now. It's nothing new either. It's nothing revolutionary.
Really?
No, it's nothing new. Holographics, it's not. It's very simple technology for these top scientists. You know, they've even admitted that it's not. It's nothing. You know, it's nothing Star Trek. You know what I mean? So it's kind of you know, it's been going for a long time, long time.
And Star Trek itself sort of preps people for technology to come. You know, mobile phones, tricorder, etc. You know, or
tractor beams,
beehive, tractor beams. It's amazing to think that they can probably do all that. And
apparently they can. Apparently they can whisk people up into the air.
But not for the peasants, though. You know.
Oh no!
The super rich elite, if they do have that technology, only they can play with it.
Of course.
And go and shoot polar bears for the right price. Go and hunt polar bears for the right price. Al Gore.
That's one of his pastimes, probably.
Yeah. All right.
Oh dear.
So we've got. Where do you want to take it, man? Should we read out a bit? And
I think.
Sort of
I think so. Yeah. I think so.
Should we try and backtrack for people who've never heard of it before? Should we try and simplify what we're going to be discussing? Or should we just go into it?
Sure. Yeah, we can maybe just do an overview.
Yeah.
I suppose.
Yeah. Because when me and you talk, we do kind of...
we digress, of course.
But it's all difficult for new people to grab. I'm always conscious
somewhere,
of
there's
that.
a red thread in there somewhere, you know, linking it all together.
And we hasten to add, that's not a commie thread.
Commie threads, love it.
Commie threads entwined in the lacework of the matrix. Yeah.
It's a mid-fashion commie threads.
So, although we're having a bit of fun here, there's a good buddy of mine, and you'd have seen Glyn on the chemtrail rally at Cambridge, playing the drum, handing out leaflets with me in Southampton, and Glyn totally understands. He's the only guy I know. All my other friends and family have no idea or think I'm a bit bonkers. You know what I'm talking about. Which is okay, you know, just be there for them and love them as much as you can, and then move on to people who want to face the truth. It's simple as that. So Glyn's helped me out a lot with the flyers, and only person I know in real life, really, apart from the people I've met on the net and the rallies and things, you know, that understands the agenda completely.
Sure.
You know, when you listen to Alan Watt, you're like, yeah, got it. Yeah, I get that. Yeah, that makes sense. Bang, bang, bang. Because he always tells the right information. So, but it's still been I mean, people say waking up, don't they? But
waking up,
we may have always been slightly
process.
awake, just in different sort of cat naps.
Yeah, sure,
Some levels of cat nap, don't you? And then you wake up again, and then you make a decision, right, no more. I'm going full bore now. I want to understand this completely, and I think we're a good way on to understanding it completely, aren't we? So BLUEBEAM, getting back to that, let's see what we've got here.
Yeah,
try and make some sense of it.
Sure. Basically, BLUEBEAM is basically a 4-stage process from the research that I've been doing, and the first step deals with, and it says here, the breakdown of all archaeological knowledge through engineered earthquakes. This is interesting. And hoaxed discoveries. That's the first step.
That is interesting.
Of course, we've already been seeing what they can do with HARP technology. I presume that's what they would use to induce this kind of chaos.
HARP, for those who may not know, is an array of antenna around the world that can pump out electromagnetic pulses and triangulate it from various places like Alaska, Norway, etc., Wales, to various points on the planet, and it can be used as a tectonic weapon and mind control of whole continents, they claim.
Completely.
So with HARP and earthquake, and you were saying?
Yeah, basically, it basically deals with the setup with artificially created earthquakes at certain precise locations on the planet. And the idea of doing this, their idea of doing this, or they want to do it, is to basically make all religious doctrines incorrect, or make them seem incorrect to the people that believe in them.
Right, and we know the Freemasons talk about destroying organised religion.
Exactly, exactly. Especially Christianity and Islam, I think, are the two main enemies, aren't they? Which they may have subverted it in the first place from ancient sun worship symbolism anyway. This is the thing, yeah.
So it's like they're playing with their game.
Yeah.
That they're designed.
Yeah, sure.
For chaos.
It does seem like that. And basically the falsification, of this information will basically, it's basically going to be used to almost manipulate your spiritual nature. That's how I see it. I mean, regardless of whether religion's right or not, that's the thing about it.
We're not bashing religion. I'm a Catholic and I believe in a creator, and I have absolutely full respect, as I know you do, for people who choose that path. That's fine.
Of course. As long as it harms no one or oneself, then and it's based in a firm moral belief system,
right?
Which it doesn't inhibit anyone. That's the thing. Because you can have moral belief systems that inhibit people and inhibit oneself, and you won't always be aware of it. It can be very subtle. So it's that's another thing to be very aware of in religions as well, I find.
Good point.
You've got to sift through. There's a lot of in any religion or spiritual path. There's errors and there's truth at the same time. It tends to be a paradox, and you have to sift through all that to find something concrete for you as an individual.
But a lot of scripture is allegorical too.
Yeah.
Once the higher initiates in orders understand that allegorical sort of slant on each, and the different levels of allegory within upon the main story.
I know. It's almost infinite in the way it works. Definitely.
Okay,
incredible.
So we've got technotronic weapons.
Yeah, basically, so that first stage,
tectonic weapons.
Yeah, the tectonic weapons. Yeah,
technotronic weapons.
Yeah, we'll get onto that.
There's no limit.
Where were we? Misinterpreted. Basically, so that first step is basically implementing that with these engineered earthquakes, if you like, and these disasters to manipulate people's beliefs, as we said. And the next part, hoax discoveries. What's important is to understand is that these earthquakes they're going to be at different parts of the world where scientific and archaeological teachings have indicated that something has been buried there, or
there's discoveries.
These things. So whether they will be things that have been planted there deliberately.
Cities see what I mean?
Because they obviously they work in huge ages, don't they?
Right.
So like going with we were talking about this the other day about the alien cave drawings. Everybody going mad about this when that book was released.
Van Daniken,
That's right, Van Daniken.
Yeah.
And
the
story
was a
hoax, wasn't it? That was
right. The story goes. Can I say?
Yeah, of course.
The story goes that Van Daniken was a big media star, and his book was a bestseller about ancient aliens having visited Earth and hybridized mated with the locals, if you like, and that's what we are, apparently, like a slave race, and this is their third time lucky, because the other two races thought, screw that, So that's his story, and history, and it was all based on these sculptures that were found on caves, I believe, or cave walls, or there may have been ornaments, I have to look that up, but it turned out to be some local goat herder who was given a few pesos to make these little rocks into spaceships,
right, okay,
that were buried there for a long time, and something like that. I need to look into that a bit further, but we'll get into the alien thing later. But
of course.
So again, hoax discoveries.
At these certain sites. So I'm basically, I haven't seen any, from my research, I haven't seen any specific sites, but from what we know about, the pyramids and Stonehenge.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me if they were target sites for unearthing, for targeting earthquakes in those specific locations to unearth
and all those
facts about our origins and evolution and all the rest of it, because this is what they're trying to distort at the end of the day, isn't it? Our nature.
Well, they've already done it with Darwin and Darwinism
exactly.
and survival of the fittest, and we're just animals. And I think that's a couple of hundred years at least to prep the public to think that they're animals. So once they dispose of 90% of us, which is what the United Nations have said on
won't mind. Yeah.
Oh, we're animals anyway. I'll jump off a cliff for the planet. Yeah, I'll get sterilised.
Exactly. And how firmly embedded is that in the public mind? The idea, how many people do you speak to that they actually believe that we're animals?
And they created the debate between the organised churches and creationism and Darwinism, the dialectic. It's been rife for a long time. So how firmly embedded is that? It's a great point.
It is, yeah. It's a very dangerous belief. Very dangerous belief,
Yeah, because it means it's okay to slaughter vast amounts of the population in any way you can. And I think that's why they openly talk about it now.
That's right.
And they do.
That's right. It disables the individual, I think, as well, because if you think you're nothing more than an animal, then you won't desire anything more than an animal, if you see what I mean. So
yeah, you'll be happy to live in a cave with rations.
Yeah, exactly.
Slum.
And it seems a shame with all these extra capacities we have psychologically, emotionally, spiritually. It just seems a shame for all that to go to waste. Most people don't even know they have these things. They really don't.
It is.
It's incredible.
I think you just hit on the crux of the matter there, and it is a shame. I've often wept, to be honest, at the prospect of what's being planned for humanity, and what keeps me going is that I meet people on the internet and I meet them on the streets. They come and help me with the chemtrail day, or I go to their event, and like the Bournemouth British Constitution Group branch, and meet like-minded people, and you feel okay. It gives you hope. That, you're not just slogging away by yourself,
Yeah, definitely. It's inspiring. Yeah. So we're at hoax discoveries. Back to that.
We're talking about Project BLUEBEAM.
Yeah, just about that.
We're going over a few fine points from some of the research we've discovered.
Yeah. So basically, the idea of hoaxing these discoveries, it will make. The idea is to make the public believe that all fundamental religious doctrines are false.
Yeah.
And this is basically, it's a plan, as it has been for a long time, to destroy mainly Christian and Muslim belief. And in order to do that, they need some sort of false proof. So basically, what it looks like is that, we've seen all the alien propaganda in the films and everything. So it's going along the lines of, one, we came from aliens, and, two, there may be, some sort of visitation again, at this stage in evolution. That's kind of...
I have to say, although I've spoken at length to people who've researched the alien idea of hybridization with the humans, etc., I've never once admitted that I personally don't believe that.
Sure,
you see?
Sure.
And but I always say I don't do aliens, and it's not a bunch of lizards from Planet Pop-Tart running the show. I've always been very clear about that. But when I've spoken to people, I've respected their research and their time that they put into it, without criticism. And I've been criticised for that, but just for the record, I don't think aliens run the planet. That's it. So this kind of ties in, So I think we're together on that one.
Of course.
This is why you're here, isn't it?
Of course.
To at least question the people who aren't questioning it. Like Alan Watts said the other night. While all the humans are signing treaties and signing your country away and putting you into austerity measures, which is just poverty, and all the rich get the redistribution of wealth for sure, the real meaning of it, people are out looking for aliens and Anunnaki.
Exactly.
Flying the chemtrail planes. You know what I mean?
I know. So, and that shows you, doesn't it, how good mind control is.
Well, that was his point.
Yeah.
He said, unfortunately, it works very well.
Yeah.
So, here we are.
And isn't it incredible? What I find incredible about this, the whole alien thing anyway, is the fact that people they seem to be more inclined to believe in something because it appeals to their fancy. You know, it's like idolatry worship, isn't it? You know, it doesn't matter whether it's a pop star, you know,
escapism,
a great historical figure, or an alien. It's still the same mechanism at work.
If you get a hint, people know there's something wrong.
Yeah.
And if you get a hint of a chink of light coming through the egg, somebody described it earlier.
Sure, it's a good one. Yeah.
You get so frightened that you just go off into fantasy land and just take it.
Yeah.
And all these little things are dangled in front of you. There you go. It's all there waiting for you. You know,
Yeah.
Extraordinary.
Definitely.
The vastness of the mind control is just immense.
I know. That's because we have
once you
minds.
discover it, that can unhinge you and make you just freeze, which is again another aspect of mind control.
Yes. Yeah.
Apathy. Bertrand Russell talked about creating apathy at this point in time.
Yeah.
Here it is. How many people vote? But it just doesn't give it. It doesn't matter whether you vote anyway. So I'm digressing now. Here we go. Next bit.
Here we are. So on to the second step of this BLUEBEAM project.
Yeah.
Now this is basically about, it's called the gigantic space show in the sky. And going back to what we were talking about with holograms and three-dimensional optical holograms and sounds, are going to be used. So it's not just visual imagery, they're going to be using sounds.
I've seen a lot of videos where there's massive sounds going on around the world, and I think that's a hoax.
Sure.
But that's beginning to sort of seep in, the big sounds, you know. Is it the trumpets? You know, the biblical trumpets?
Yeah, oh God, I expect all of that will be going on, all of that.
Everything you read in the Bible.
All the bells and whistles, all the stops, revelations.
Should be some show, eh?
Exactly, I know.
Olympics?
Yeah.
We'll come to that later. We'll come to that later.
That's a Pandora's box.
I'm sorry I'm laughing, but it's just...
It keeps you sane.
It does keep you sane.
It's not, it's not sadistic laughter.
No, it's kind of gallows humour, isn't it?
I know, with a conflict as wide as this, to be aware of it is a weight,
Yeah.
Let alone doing something about it, so, it's... Well, it's incredible that people do.
You should just count yourself lucky that you've got the knowledge to wait, mate. You know what I mean? Just be happy with your lot. We were talking the other day about the mind control of people, like how their aspirations are suppressed by the media, possibly. And one of our friends was saying, I'd like to do this in my life, I'd like to do that in my life, and his work colleagues were like, well, no, you should count yourself lucky with this. And I just wonder if EastEnders and Coronation Street, that plays a role in that, Don't get ideas above your station. That's a really old aristocratic kind of put down. You know what I mean? Don't get ideas above your station, young lady. And clean my shoes. Sorry, man.
Not at all. So, anyway, back to these optical holograms. And it touches on actually the first step as well. So basically the purpose of these holograms is to, like we were saying, manipulate people's minds into this new belief system, which is the Luciferian religion, if you like, which is what they, for anybody who doesn't know out there what the Luciferian agenda is, it's basically, the Luciferian agenda is about destroying all existing paths that do not fall in line, religious paths that do not fall in line with the Illuminati and the deity that they worship, which is Lucifer. There's no mistaking that, by the way.
No, it is top-ranking Freemasons are on video saying, yes, I worship Lucifer. Yeah, use the light, etc.
And this is basically the new God that they want us to worship, the true God, as they call it, the one true God. And
it ain't Christopher. It ain't Peter Cushing. And it ain't Christopher Lee.
Unfortunately, it'll be a lot easier to deal with.
Just give him a bad script.
I've already got one.
They've already got one. All right. We're living through a script, Alan Watt says. You know?
We are.
I know I quote him a lot, but he's the master of truth as far as I'm concerned.
He's the best out there.
The most genuine, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're living in a... He says we live like mushrooms in the dark, we're kept in the dark. And we just fed the scraps, you know?
Damn right we are.
That's your reality. You don't get ideas above your reality, young boy. Yeah.
Oh, yes. So, yeah, going back to the religious part. So each projected hologram at the time when they execute this will be predominating to the regional and national religious faith of the area. So for the Christians, it will be Christ. For Buddhists, it will be Buddha. For Islam, it will be Muhammad, etc.
Yeah.
And the idea is to basically merge these characters all into one after the truth has supposedly been explained by these gigantic holographic gods that people will believe are real, because they're so lifelike. Because they're
3D looking.
3D looking with all the sounds.
And it wouldn't matter because if it's a big spirit god and it's a bit fuzzy around the edges, it wouldn't matter if the holograms aren't up.
Exactly. And most people would rationalize it anyway, even if, you know what I mean, because the religious fever would be so high.
Yeah.
You know, that's the thing. That's one of the things that frightens me about it, is the fact that people, even though it's a completely ridiculous idea, they'll
accommodate it.
Exactly.
If there's something that doesn't fit right, they'll just, because they want to believe it so much, they might just, you know, tweak it for themselves in their head. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, sure. As people do.
Okay, shoulder wobbled a bit there.
Yeah. But just edit that. Yeah.
Just edit that out.
Hang about, he's got a pair of Levi's on. Don't worry about that, mate, no. Got Levi's in heaven.
Levi. Isn't he a biblical figure?
Yeah,
sure.
Evil, isn't it? I don't know, evil.
Oh yeah, Levi, evil. Never thought of that. It's like Evian, isn't it? Backwards. It's like naive. So you're drinking a bisphenol A plastic water bottles. It's like you're naive backwards. So we've got they've got the technology. They've got the history to build on that they may have designed, that the elite may have subverted themselves.
Yeah.
And how are they going to build on that and bring in the Luciferian religion? Is it through another source? Is there something before that we all have to get used to? The leading question.
Before
atheism, New Ageism, atheism.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, atheism.
And then they want to destroy atheism.
And
Gaia.
Yes. Yeah.
Mother Earth, green, and then bang.
Well, the thing is that
old Nick.
The Gaia, the Mother Earth religions are part of Luciferianism, aren't they? The whole kind of Earth worship and the deity, you know, and the kind of Lord of the Earth, Lucifer being Lord of the Earth. You know, when you see these pictures, for anyone in the New Age movement, when you see these pictures of Mother Earth, what you're actually looking at is Lucifer, believe it or not, which is a Freemasonic. Obviously, the Freemasons set up the New Age movement back in the early 80s it was just another arm, another way of getting people that think spiritually and use their intuition. But you see, it's a very clever way of manipulating people in with
crystals and
lots of double think, you know, lots of things that seem beneficial to the individual, but then
self-improvement and
of course, you know, the whole idea of with hypnosis, spiritual healing. Now, I'm not saying that these things don't work, but it's just you're being led up the garden path, if you know what I mean. Into a larger, darker religion. Exactly.
Yeah.
You're actually being initiated without your knowing into this Luciferian New Age, which is essentially what it is. You know? Unfortunately.
And we're entering the age of Aquarius now. We're on the sort of cusp, if you like, astrologically. It's a big eon for them, from Pisces to Aquarius, the age of Aquarius.
Yeah.
It's a bit dark, isn't it?
It seemed, I mean, I never used to think so. When I was, I got mixed up in the New Age religion, as you well know, we've discussed it. Not heavily, but
I used to entertain a lot of spiritual ideas that I found out to be run by a bunch of crims, to be honest. Yes. I used to go to Buddhist, Tibetan meditation classes. Meditation's fine, it really worked. Powerful experiences. But as soon as you were short of your £2.50 that week, they started talking about their bank balance and getting really upset.
Right, right.
Yeah, so it's just
well, that's
sort of
worrying.
Yeah. I went I went to a retreat and it was all a bit touchy feely, you know what I mean, a bit too much, and the people running it weren't very genuine. They were concerned about money more than anything else. So, and a lot of that New Age movement is just ripe for mugs.
It is, yeah, and I was one of them. So it's, it's like I say, when you have a spiritual inclination, you are easily manipulated.
But you're angry about that now.
I am angry about that. Yeah, I have dealt with it. I have dealt with it a lot.
A lot of people have been manipulated by it. I was,
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
because I was into Guy, Mother Earth, and James Lovelock. And
yeah. Celestine prophecy and
Celestine prophecy.
It seemed right.
Yeah,
but that's how good.
Yeah, it was written very
because
well.
they know your mind so well. They know all the spectrums of what somebody would believe spiritually. It's very easy to map out some sort of control.
I look back at
it's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's incredible when you have that amount of knowledge.
I don't view it as the New Age movement may have sought to dupe people and take advantage of them spiritually for whatever reason, agenda, next religion, whatever. But I still value it as a learning experience. Do you feel like that?
In terms, yes, I do. Positive and negative terms, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Positively because I found it has esoteric knowledge within it that you won't find necessarily anywhere else. So, you may learn techniques of meditation to discover yourself inwardly. So that's a positive thing. It does have positive things, but at the same time, in a negative sense, learning about the fact that it's not really the right direction to go in terms of what you end up worshipping.
Give me glimpses.
Exactly.
Give me glimpses of the infinite.
Yeah, exactly.
But who knows what may have been implanted in your mind while you were exploring.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so that's why I feel it was a valuable learning experience, because now I can look back. And the next time a hippie wanders up to me with a crystal, I'll tell him to...
With a crystal and an angel
on your
card,
bike, mate.
Exactly.
Get on your bike, mate.
Hug the trees, dude. You know what I mean? Yeah. Send out your spiritual emanations to the universe and everything will be fine.
Yeah, that'll pay your bills.
Which is all fair and well, don't get me wrong. People emanate spiritual vibrate. Of course they do. I mean, that's metaphysics, That's another subject, but, in terms of what it's capable of, no, it's incorrect, So, but yeah.
So where are we up to?
We're up to the holographic projections.
Yeah.
And what's interesting about these projections in this second step is...
Does it go into detail about how they do it, some of the science? Or?
Yes, it does. Yeah, it does. Yeah, I've done some research on that.
Or how it may be done in the future?
Yeah, of course. Basically, it's using studies on anatomy and electromechanical compositions of people and the neurology of their minds as well, and basically mapping that out. Basically all it is programming a computer with the mechanics of the mind and the body to then project an almost exact lifelike image of that whatever it is. It could be a person, could be an animal, whatever it is that they want to do, into the sky. So they want to make it as believable as possible. I mean, if you had some static symbol, just, you know what I mean, without its mouth moving and kind of sitting in the sky, and there's like a voiceover, you wouldn't believe it, would you? You know what I mean? But if you
like Simpsons or something.
Of course, of course, something like that, yeah. So they've obviously made sure they've done so much studying on people scientifically. They want to make it as lifelike as possible.
And the sky is like plasma now from the chemtrails, so they can bounce all this stuff off too.
That's another purpose of the chemtrails.
The HAARP.
Yeah, definitely.
Powerful.
As well as all the biochemical crap that's being sprayed, and there seem to be. I mean,
it just seems like,
isn't it? But
if this is going to happen, it just seems like while they're bumping 90% of us off at least, and the rest who will be born in the future will be like alphas and betas in Brave New World.
Batteries.
They're really with this kind of technology, they can really have a party and really enjoy themselves.
Oh God, yeah,
because they enjoy slaughtering humans.
Yeah,
They sacrifice them. I spoke to Fritz Springmeier. They get children to sacrifice other children with a knife. They enjoy setting up the chess pieces and watching them bloody each other. They enjoy that. So with this technology, they can really have a party.
Yeah, of course. Oh God, yeah.
And nothing is beyond these creeps.
No.
We've studied them, haven't we?
Yeah.
We've studied them at length, and there's no end to their being monsters. To the monster, you know, I don't know what the word is, but there's just no end to their evil, really.
Malignancy,
it's just without limit. So it must be resisted, and this is why we're here, because we're trying to, all the global warming crap, we're trying to discredit that too. We're trying to expose that scam.
Yes, yeah.
And with the Gaia Mother Earth sort of theory, religion, that's being drawn up as a replacement for organised religion.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's again, we're ripe for being mugged.
We are
mentally mugged, you know.
And I'm sure there's a lot of people that have already reached that sort of almost complete belief within you know, the New Age stuff as well.
It's important to say why we're doing what we're doing.
Of course.
We're not just here for a chat.
Of course. No.
We're very concerned that people are being led up the wrong path.
This is it.
Because, you know, to be slaughtered. It is that simple. So we might be having a laugh here, and we do have kind of gallows humour, but generally we are concerned about humanity, generally, you know.
That's right, we certainly are.
Well, please, continue.
But yeah. So we're on to step 2. Now there's 2 stages to this step 2. The first, we were just talking a little bit about this gigantic space show, this religious space show that they want to implement.
Right.
And we're talking about, obviously, with the simulation of these prophecies and these end times, according to which, you know, according to the religious faith in each country, depends on what, you know, what kind of movie, if you like, movie in the sky will be shown. And also, this is interesting, actually, it links to chemtrails. Apparently they use they use sodium to project holograms onto. Have you heard anything about that with chemtrailing? Or
no.
Apparently it seems to be sort of maybe a conductor of the heart.
No.
Or some sort of.
I know they use the whole range of chemicals that they can get hold of.
Right. Okay.
Ethylene dibromide, strontium, bacteria. So yeah, they're probably using everything. I think they use silver, various metals, aluminium oxide. So it wouldn't surprise me at all.
Definitely. Yeah. I thought I'd just mention that because I've never come across it before. That's So
I think the whole periodic table has been sprayed on, to be honest, along with those.
Oh my God. Start seeing mutations soon, maybe.
No, I believe we're seeing that now.
Yeah.
And the
Morgellons. Of course.
There's a question, actually, before you move on. Quickly, there's a question from Sam that helped us out with the Chemtrail Info Day in Southampton.
Yeah.
And we might have another one soon in Southampton. Sam, he's in the chat box there. His channel is D Deansy, so DDEANZY. And from the chat, take an incident like September the 11th. Could an event like this impact on the psyche on us as a whole? Could this create some type of trauma? And could we have hidden programming that may be drawn out at a future time with certain code words or even events, etc.? What are your thoughts on that? Do these big catastrophes that are invented and driven by the security agencies, generally intelligence agencies, could these big catastrophes have be created for trauma and on the psyche of people as a whole?
Yeah, I definitely think so. I mean, well, basically that's predictive programming, right? That's the
symptoms again.
Exactly, yeah. So, I mean, I think that's going on all the time. But specifically with these with these traumatic events, definitely. Yeah. And even when the events happen, when you're in a traumatized state of mind, you're much more susceptible to imprints. Because when the mind is traumatized, you can't... critical thinking and being able to rationalize and think objectively is either diminished or disabled completely. So you end up believing what is ever imprinted you know, without ever even having, you know, without having the ability just to go, whoa, you know, what the hell is that? Get out of my mind.
Yeah.
You know? So, yeah, definitely.
And you've been prepped beforehand, you know?
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
like
yeah,
a prep school.
I mean, we all have it within us. That's the thing. All of these triggers have been programmed since birth. Really, I think, you know.
From TV, from your parents not knowing any better, etc. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, we've been conditioned very much from birth.
Definitely.
Probably conditioned in the womb if you're being, you know, if your mum's watching the telly or whatever. You know?
Yeah. Oh God, yeah, definitely.
It's an excellent question, Sam. I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean the Kennedy assassination was trauma-based mind control for the psyche of humanity. It was on television, bang, 9/11 on television, bang, 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 repeat, repeat, repeat. Fritz Springmeier was talking about that. There's a certain word for it when you keep repeating the trauma and watching it, and it was addictive. You just couldn't believe it was
probably
happening.
Embedding, right, something like that. Yeah, repetition of a stimulus to make it concrete. So the more, you know, the more you apply information in a specific way, or create a, you know, depending on what they want to do, obviously with your behaviour, you know, they can literally make that concrete within your subconscious, and then your subconscious will make it conscious. You see, you'll even though you won't be aware of it, you'll be going around acting it out in your behaviour,
almost manifesting it. Yeah.
Yeah, completely. Yeah, it's incredible how they do that.
Well. Those weapons of mass destruction must be around here somewhere. Nope. Maybe under here. Nope. Maybe over there. Weapons of mass destruction. Weapons of mass destruction. Weapons of mass destruction. Terror, 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 terror. Weapons of mass destruction. That's another one, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Brain entrainment or something.
Constant repetition.
Yeah.
Constant. Yeah. So, I wanted to go back and talk a little bit about the how the technology and the different kind of electromagnetic wavelengths that apparently they're going to be using to project images. And secondly, there's this concept within BLUEBEAM about being able to direct waves into your mind so you can hear voices. You know? So it's some sort of two-way telepathic, you know,
artificial communication with God or something.
That's the idea of it. One of the ideas of BLUEBEAM is to make you feel that your God is talking to you at this point when they pull this, you know, huge space show, this whole
en masse
traumatizing event, and it will be a traumatizing event regardless if you believe it or not.
Many people at a time.
Oh God,
individually.
Worldwide.
Yeah.
Worldwide. That's a huge part of it, and I think that is one of the most hideous parts to me, really, because
the Satanists would be a bit upset when Jesus turns up. Damn! I knew I was on the wrong side. Get out of my head! Yeah. It's nuts, isn't it? That's absolutely nuts.
It is absolutely
nuts. It's going to get more nuts, isn't it, on the next page?
It gets even more nuts. You don't even want to know how nuts it is.
Yeah, we do.
You know what I mean? But
let's go there.
You know, not to be arrogant and say it is the truth, but from the research that I've done and people that have suffered misfortune for exposing this, Sergio Monast,
that's true.
Being one of them, the infamous Rick Clay. I don't know if he's alive, if he's dead. Apparently he's dead.
He's dead,
you know, he did one broadcast. He did apparently a famous broadcast of Red Ice Radio and then went missing shortly afterwards.
And didn't he tell his wife in Australia that he was fearing a threat on his life? And
yes, he did, yeah.
And he was very happy. Apparently his relatives said he was very happy and sort of happy-go-lucky as it was a few days before, and there was no signs. Classic, really, assassination. No signs that there was anything untoward going on in his brain, or he was depressed or anything. And sounds like a really nice guy. The information, the network of information that's attempting to get out there and just doing a lot of good work, waking people up, regardless of their whether they tag the aliens on at the end or not. A lot of people have done a great deal of work, and just in the truth movement, if you like, truthers generally miss people like that. So it's a sad loss, you know. We lost Fritz Springmeier for 8 years. They set him up as a bank robber, conspiracy to rob banks or something. And this guy's a Christian author.
Yeah.
You know, very nice fella, by all accounts, yeah. So they will put you away. They will assassinate you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. If you push the buttons.
Presidents don't go along with the agenda, and they want the oil for their people. The IMF hitman will go in, offer you money if you don't accept it. The CIA will go in and produce civil unrest and destabilise the country, the economy. And if that doesn't work, your plane falls out of the sky.
That's right.
And that was a president of a South American country. Mm. So people sitting at home with their keyboards, it's nothing to them. Mm. They just shut them up, especially if they may be, I feel, they may be teetering on the precipice of unveiling an important part of the agenda that they don't want exposed yet. Yeah, so Rick Clay, Manast.
And there was another journalist that died of a heart attack. I don't have his name, but he worked with Sergei Monas, and they died at the same time of heart attacks.
Yeah, it's well known that they can induce heart attacks can be induced through your computer, or they may even have a little gun they point at you and can just bring it on.
Sure. I know.
Applications, etc.
It makes you wonder how can you escape. How can you defend yourself completely from...
Numbers. We have the numbers. We mustn't be discouraged. And don't get scared when you hear these stories, folks, because there are 6.7, apparently, billion of us. And even if 1% or 0.5% woke up and decided to take these people on and expose them, tapping away on the computers or doing rallies or organising events, it's coming. And the reason tyranny gets hardcore is because they need to suppress any kind of rebellious spirit, and that rebellious spirit is rising. It's peaceful at the moment until they're pushed against the wall, but for now we have the numbers, and we don't have much time, but at least we have the numbers, which is a huge weapon in our array, I feel. The fact that we have the numbers doing it. They can't get us all. Well, maybe with a neutron bomb. That's another story. Sorry, man.
No, not at all. Not at all. It's all relevant.
I was just trying to put it in perspective.
Of course.
Don't be scared, in other words.
No. Never be scared. Never be scared.
Because once fear grips you, it can paralyse you. So.
I mean, obviously, we've
all been there too.
Obviously, there's a certain amount of subconscious fear with all of us, or it may be conscious at times, but then that's only natural. I mean, what we face is... I don't think to express it in words, it still falls short of, expressing it, just how monstrous this thing is, the evil contained within this small group of men, and everything.
A little clique, a cabal.
Exactly.
A cliquey cabal of fat bankers.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah, basically.
And whoever controls the bankers, and maybe there's people above that control the bankers, we don't know, but at the moment, the public figures are signing the treaties and signing away your sovereignty, and
that's right.
We can put these people in jail, and not the funky, ordered judicial corrupt system, but they're generally, if you look back in history, most people's courts are ugly, but they get things done.
They do.
Yeah, and that's coming too.
We do. So what are we looking at? In order for that to happen, we've got to look at some turnaround in the justice system from individuals.
Not going to happen.
But I can't see it happening personally.
It's so rotten.
It's not impossible, but it's not that and it's not necessarily because people don't care. They may be petrified because of the position they're in and the information they have. You see, so
compartmentalized, mind control, money, fear of reputation being lost, everything.
Yeah. Or even death.
Death? Yeah, there is that.
Which is the last port of call, isn't it?
Yeah, death is just the last straw, isn't it? Yeah.
Don't worry about it. You're an animal. You're a beast anyway. Don't worry about it.
All right. Yeah. Okay. I'll jump off the cliff to save the planet. I'll get sterilised, if not already, from the food and the GM. All right.
Yeah. So
I'll tell you what. What do you think about? Are you okay to carry on talking, or should we have a little slight music break?
Yeah, we can have a slight music break. That'd be great.
Okay. Then we can gather our thoughts, and you're watching on Ustream TV, FreeTruth, and you're listening to the FreeTruth show on These Changing Times Radio with my guest Glyn Hunt, percussionist and activist. and we'll be right back, hopefully. There's some music lined up after this ditty. We'll be right back.
There is a small group of people all over the world who are awakening, who are beginning to understand that they've been living their life in fantasy land, and who are actively seeking the truth. But when the secret power structure says, right out of one of their own technical manuals, that a nation or world of people who do not use their intelligence are no better than animals who do not have intelligence, and thus are stakes on the table by choice and consent.
I got a letter from the government via the media, the supplier of cover, saying wider and speedier, hiring buffer cheats, that line get greedier, buyers requiring seats and a reliable...
Welcome back to the Free Truth Show on These Changing Times Radio.ning.com. Thank you for tuning in. We are live on the south coast of England in the ancient kingdom of Wessex.
Oh.
And we went down to Corfe Castle the other day and sort of wandered around town checking out our history, and there's a massive history here, big history in Dorset on the south coast of England. But it's saddening to look at Warbarrow Bay, where the D-Day landings were practiced in Dorset before they went to the beaches of Normandy, and to think of all those lads that went to war fighting Hitler and the Japanese and whoever else opposed them for a clique of really old men, internationalists, funding both sides, all sides, eugenicists, old men, not caring who won, whether it be socialism winning the day or communism or fascism. Either way, they still make a buck and depopulate the planet a bit more from them poor souls fighting for liberty. And I've studied World War II and their history and its history, trying to discover some embers of sense from the whole monstrous nature of the Second World War, and I couldn't, because the history books tell you something completely different, because the bankers authorize the eminent historians. So why do we do broadcasts like this? To throw light onto the darkness and knowledge that's been suppressed, and to laugh at the bankers and not take them seriously. I mean, their eugenics agenda is going to carry on regardless whether we're laughing at them or not, but it does take some of their power away when we have a bit of a laugh, and we also expose them and warn people not to take the vaccines, not to use fluoride from the toothpaste, to not eat GMO foods, all things that are designed to kill you. So this is why we do what we do, and my guest here this evening is my good friend in real life, non-virtual friend, Future Boys.
Oh, I'm real, baby.
The Future Boys alive.
Very real.
Glyn Hunt is a percussionist and a fellow activist with me down here. And just before we go on, we're talking about BLUEBEAM, the alien agenda, the Gaia Mother Earth, the futility of the New Age movement. And, but we've been under attack, haven't we? We've both had this same noise.
Yeah,
just
interesting
briefly,
to notice.
Just a little caveat on what we're saying here. This noise has been in this house for knocking on 20 years now. It's a really, really loud sometimes. It comes on, it comes off like a button's being switched on, a button's being pressed, or a lever on the Death Star blow up the planet. It's like a hum, and it gets right in your head and can wake you up with a start. You leave the house, it's in the house, you leave the house, it's even stronger in the garden. You walk 2 steps it's almost completely disappeared. You take one more step forward up the garden path, it's intense. Now, I've only ever heard it in one other place, Glyn's flat, 8 miles away.
Strange. Coincidence or something else? No.
All my life, I've only ever heard that noise, and we had £10,000 of equipment round here once, just to get to the bottom of it, and apparently it didn't register on the graph. Right? It was here for a week. Only ever heard it in one other place, Glyn's flat. And Glyn helps me with activism and chemtrail info days. There's another one in Portsmouth on this Saturday. Just a quick mention, Portsmouth Chemtrail Info Day. Bring flyers. We need more flyers. I've got about 500. Jane Long's bring some. Sam maybe brings some also. Hopefully Sam can make it. God bless him. And a few other people. So we need more flyers. Chemtrail Info Day. Saturday, March the 10th, outside, it's by the Spinnaker Tower there. We're going to meet at the cannon. There's a cannon on the way. Presumably it's still there. But just by the Spinnaker Tower anyway, at Gun Wharf Quays. And how would you describe the noise?
The noise, well, its nature is low frequency. I'm guessing it's some sort of extra low frequency, ELF, ELO wave, extra low oscillating wave. I mean, my scientific knowledge on it is not that inclusive, should we say, but you know, I know that they do use those waveforms to interfere with, you know, bodily and mental processes. So
I spoke to Nick Beggage. It's a good point. I spoke to Dr. Nick Beggage. I interviewed him. I explained what this was. Is it a ground wave, or is it some sort of triangulation from the pylons and the cell phone tower? It was here before the cell phone tower went up.
Sure.
Is it from the substation? No, you can't hear the substation from here. The ceramic, somebody suggested the ceramic pipes under the ground, old pipes,
sure,
used as a conductor. And my suggestion was, is it a triangulation of directed energy? You know, some kind of experiment going on, because people are dropping like flies along here. But apparently it's 1 in 2 around the world anyway, cancer. I don't remember what he said actually. I think he referred to a ground wave. You know, how it can be. Well, the ground wave still wouldn't switch on and off.
This is the thing. This is the thing.
And I'm not joking here, right? Every time I get my camera, I don't know what it is. Every time I get my camera and go out into the garden to film it, to record the noise, use the camera as like a microphone, or use a £150 microphone that I borrow, really good quality BBC interview one, it stops. Every single time I now speak and say, if the noise is too bad or I can't concentrate because the noise is too bad, I say, I actually talk to myself like I'm talking to somebody. I say, I'm going out in the garden to record this now, and it stops. And if I don't do it, it carries on for sometimes hours. Up to an hour, actually, mostly. Very strange. And so I did the same at Glyn's. And I showed you the camera. I said, Glyn, what's this? I'm going to put the camera on to record the noise. Stopped.
I know.
You know, that's how these gang stalkers, and they're very real, look into gang stalker. Google that, mother. They use directed energy weapons. They park outside your house. And there's nobody ever parked outside. And they experiment on the public. They experiment on the public. Agent Orange, army camps in Canada, Dorset biological trials, where they had the Bacillus thuringiensis, I think it was. Anthrax mimicking agents. They parked the ship off Portland, the ice whale ship. It's all declassified documents. I got the documents, and they and they sprayed, and then set up stations to see how it would affect the public. And then there's birth defects and miscarriages, and they went round the country doing it. At one point, they went into a village with a van and sprayed.
I know.
Stuff.
Yeah. I know. They had some sort of device spewing it out for hours. I think it was Somerset, wasn't it? Frome, Somerset.
All declassified. I forget now.
Spewing it out down a road.
So it's not unusual that if they have this sort of technology and the BLUEBEAM technology, So they go around little teams, getting activists into mental hospitals because they think they're going insane and they're hearing voices in their head. Dr. Nick Begich had an instrument that was obsolete when he showed it. It was like a 60s CIA instrument that once you turned it on and pointed it at you, the music would appear in your head. So they have it all. You know, they probably do it on satellite, God knows, and more.
And more. Yeah.
So
100 years worth more of technology. We've never even seen. Well, we've seen it in the movies, right?
The ranks are going to fold sooner or later when the lower echelons of the elite understand that they're expendable too.
Yes.
And they've had a good ride, but they must be sacrificed for Lucifer or something, you know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, there'll be some sort of...
The house of cards is going to come tumbling. And soon, this technology may be available to us. And that's a daunting prospect. It's already in the wrong hands, you know, it can't get any worse. You know, you don't want them peasants fooling around with our technology, but it can't get any worse. At least we might be able to survive, I don't know. So where are we up to with BLUEBEAM?
We're up to, well, the fact we've been talking about these, you know, low vibration waveforms is interesting because it's connected with BLUEBEAM and the idea of artificial thought and communication. And this is going back to two-way telepathic communication using ELF, VLF and LF waves, which will reach each person from within his or her own mind, convincing each of them that their own God is speaking to them from their own soul nature, or your soul.
The voice of boom.
Exactly. And this will be coming from, this information apparently will be coming from satellites where, I don't know where they control these things from. I mean, I'm assuming it's linked with HARP. It might not be. I don't know.
There's a base on the moon, don't you know? Around the other side, you can't see it.
It's hollow.
It's hollow. It rings like a bell. Right. Yeah, that'll save humanity.
Incredible.
Chasing moonbeams.
Oh God.
Carry on.
No, yeah, sure. So the idea of your own God speaking to you. I mean, it appeals to you, doesn't it? It appeals to your vanity, and I'm sure it will. You know, when it does happen, if it does. I mean, if this can be exposed to such an extent, then
we can make it obsolete by exposing it.
Exactly. They would have, you know...
You hear a voice in your head like...
You're not going to have
know what's going on here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because if you expose this, and many people have tried to, or they have exposed it, but on such a grand scale where everybody gets to know about it. But you see, the problem with taking this is so, you know, it's almost, you know, you need to know a bit about the history and where it's all leading up to, you know, to take it on board, because this is so outrageous, this idea and this technology. Most people will not take this concept on board.
And by the way,
present state.
A tin hat, sorry to interrupt, but a tin hat, by the way, is no defence. It may even like amplify the electromagnetic. Your head would cook, man, if you got a tinfoil hat on. Forget about it. Forget about it.
Oh dear. Yeah, that is a very worrying line of thought, isn't it? But yeah.
I'm surprised you haven't created culture industry ministers or something, or the old farts around the think tank. I'm surprised you haven't built a whole new fashion line. Like catwalk tinfoil. Yeah, so leave the tinfoil in the cupboard where it belongs, folks.
Love it. I love it. So yeah, we are on the subject of these extra low frequency waves. And another interesting thing here is apparently it can interlace with your natural thinking. And that creates something called diffused artificial thought. Now this is something I haven't done a lot of research on this. DAT, will be the acronym, I suppose, And apparently it has the ability to interlace so well that you think it's coming from within your own space, your own being, if you like. That's the whole idea.
You hear about authors saying the characters write themselves. It's almost like the characters are writing themselves. You wonder if some of these big authors are just sitting there.
They're just sitting there with a big ray gun above them. You know what I mean,
Strap in.
You know? Oh my God.
Sitting there in some chair all wired up, typing away.
Oh man, it's insane, isn't it?
Sorry, dude.
You know? No, not at all, not at all. And what's even more worrying about this thing is that this technology has been around since the 50s, apparently. Apparently the CIA were even using this
Tesla
device.
Yeah,
using Tesla waves, is it?
Tetra waves. Yeah,
sorry.
all these towers and cell phone Tetra towers is very, very bad for people.
Yeah.
Increases the frequency, yeah.
So they've got all these, you know, they've got all these different, all the states of the, you know, electromagnetic spectrum and all the rest of it. You know, they seem to be able to manipulate and use this very well. I mean, they're they're adept at science, aren't they? You know, they have the best
scientific dictatorship.
Exactly.
A global society run by scientists.
Yeah.
Your betters. You know.
That's right. The experts.
Experts say.
That's right.
Experts say.
So it looks like they've been onto this for quite a while. Just going back to what I was saying about the CIA in the 50s, about using these devices. They had devices then which enabled a person to transmit a signal from a remote location. It could be just across the street, or it may be, you know, so a few streets away or whatever, into someone's mind.
Smart meters.
Target someone specifically.
Smart meters?
Yeah, sure. And you can hear whatever it is that's being decoded, because your mind decodes the waveform, so that you can experience it within your own mind. You see, so whether it might be music, it might just be voice of some kind. But I mean, if they've had it since then, what level are they at now? You know, I mean, that was...
They understand the brain chemistry
exactly
brilliantly then.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
In many ways. And, you know, so it just amazes me really that they've had this, you know, everyone's sat there watching black and white TV or just watching colour TV, you know.
HD, well, that's the biggest weapon so far, I think. It's been the TV. Like Alan Watts says, and I quote him continuously, biggest weapon ever devised for mind control. It was never for your entertainment. And he relates that, why do you think the government was so anxious to give you HP terms on the television when you were poor in the slums of Aberdeen or wherever, you know?
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's from the slums, I'm just saying just generally poor areas that couldn't afford TV, the government gives it to you. But they also give you the vaccine, so yeah, big weapon, weapon. Tell, lie, vision.
Yes, yeah, you break it down.
It's a joke.
And believer is another interesting one along those lines, actually. Be a believer if you break it down. I'm not saying that this is right, but it's just interesting. But be in the lie forever.
Oh.
Which is quite interesting. I mean, not at all, but, you know,
I think Kat would appreciate that. She's quite into etymology.
Yeah, sure. But I don't know if it's the etymological origin, but it's something that was pointed out to me years ago when
I regard etymology as the breaking up of words and the misuse of it for manipulating people's thoughts.
Yeah,
you know,
sure. A lot of the English language
word is.
Yeah.
The whole English language was subverted, and most of the European languages at the same time. Hello, you know. I often think, wouldn't it? Because I learnt German quite a bit, and I learnt some Irish. And I wanted to speak my blood's ancient language. For 800 years, presumably, my family have been in Ireland, my mum's side of the family, and I wanted to. It was a great thrill to be able to speak in, although in modern terms they probably tweaked it a bit for modern language, you know. That's probably been done also with Gaelic and Irish generally. But it was nice, and I came to the conclusion that wouldn't it be nice if we didn't read or write at all? And my uncle, who became very successful, there's the whole history is littered with people who were brilliant people and couldn't read and write because they never learned or never taught. Wouldn't it be nice if we didn't read or write at all and we wouldn't be manipulated? All the stories from the Druids were handed down face to face, you know. They learned all their histories off by heart, and you don't forget, you know, vivid imagery like that when it's told around a campfire, and that's the way it's supposed to be. Writing and reading. Virtually everything invented by man has been abused and manipulated.
I know.
For the elite, isn't it?
Sadly.
Depressing, isn't it? I know.
Sadly.
I just wanted to sort of ramble on that point.
Yeah, sure.
So where we at? Project BLUEBEAM. So we want to talk about the alien agenda as well.
We're coming to that.
Well,
that's the fourth stage of this outrageous.
Because it is a big concern that people are being manipulated into believing that aliens are running the planet and planet Pop-Tart and whatever,
or that they exist and they're going to save you, or they've had some sort of dealings with us in our evolution.
It's disenfranchising your hope.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's literally, it's forcing you to worship something that's going to save you or provide you with something, a solution, if you like. That's what it is, basically.
Yeah.
So, that's what a lot of religions try to offer you solutions. Whether they work or not is a different matter. So this whole idea of aliens appeals to people's imaginations. It appeals to their fancy. We all love stories. We all love mystery. We all love the unknown, and they know that psychologically. The way they design these things, they design it so it appeals to your fancy so much, that you almost what would be the word? It's almost like you don't rationalize and think critically, because it's so amazing and it may be true and the implications of it, and it shuts down that critical part of you just to go, whoa, wait a minute, that sounds ridiculous.
And that's how the orders, that's how the secret societies initiate you into different levels of understanding.
Sure.
You think you're getting more of the piece of the puzzle the higher you go, when in fact you're still a mind-controlled zombie. In fact, more so.
Completely.
You're more of a Borg, beehive sort of victim, and meanwhile you think you're better than the, what do they call us, the great unwashed?
Is that another euphemism?
I think so, yeah.
The great unwashed. I've never heard that. I have never heard that.
The masses, the cattle, you think you're better than them because you've been initiated into this mystery, see?
Exactly.
And then the 33rd degree Masons are laughing at you.
Yeah, completely.
They have contempt for anyone below them and worship anyone above them.
Yeah. That shows you how insane the whole concept is.
And what made a good point, actually.
It seconds me, really. You know what I mean?
And what made a good point that this 33rd degree, but how many degrees are there? 180?
This is it. 30. I mean, my understanding was that there's 33 degrees in masonry.
Why would it stop at 33?
Exactly.
Why is that such a significant number for them?
Exactly.
Anyway, going off
I think the Illuminist degrees and the Luciferian stuff is above the 33. I think that's how it works. So there must be secret degrees. It's probably hundreds.
Oh yeah, if you're a top Satanist or a top Luciferian, there is a slight difference.
Yeah.
Then you're going to have access to technology that's going to make you seem like a wizard.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
I'm in your head.
Yeah, completely.
I'm pointing this thing at you from my lapel.
Oh, they love all that. Yeah.
They might have a little brain implant themselves that allows them to just look at you and have music in your head or whatever, or go and assassinate that person or whatever, Yeah. Probably guiding Obama's speech. Oh no, he's got a scriptwriter. I think the scriptwriter's running the country, really.
Really?
Yeah, so...
his mentor. Yeah, of course. Can't remember his name.
Brzezinski and John P. Holder and all complete psychopaths. Yeah. And by the way, you have to be a psychopath to get up that far. And
what about Russell? What about Bertrand Russell? Was he a mentor for any? I'm sure he probably was, wouldn't he? He was top. Would have been top Freemason, wouldn't he? Top Illuminist of some sort.
Yeah. So. I don't know what he was. Possibly Fabian Society or something like that.
Right.
But whose mentor he was, I don't know.
Interesting. His
students.
Yeah, students.
They thought he was a god,
Yeah.
They couldn't see through any of his... They read his books... They must have read his books inside out without getting the allegory. Because these people write their books for the elite to read and enjoy.
Right. Yeah.
Well, who knows? We know Tony Blair was 33rd degree, Obama's 32nd apparently, but there's 180, so... Anyway, the mystery,
Incredible.
The mystery...
So, the idea of... It seems to be that it basically, on a psychological level, it's a way of sort of disempowering people and taking them away from their ability to act as an individual. That's how I see it with this whole alien thing. Because as long as you're continually believing in some sort of vague event that may or may not happen, or the idea of a being saving you, you know, you're paralyzed really, because you're not taking responsibility for your own, for the situation that you're in. Do you see what I mean? So it's the same mechanism. It doesn't matter whether it's you know, a prophet, an alien, a king, or whatever, a political figure. It's just all about dissociating you from your own power. That's how I see it. You know, it's the basic, your own consciousness, if you like. Yeah. And your ability to act. So so sorry folks, but the whole alien thing is a joke. You know, that's my opinion on it. But you know, do your own research, I guess, as well. Definitely.
Well, it's difficult for people to do their own research because they might fall into the trap that, no, I see what you're saying, but no, I'm going to go with this.
Yeah, sure. The thing
so
is,
people should be warned.
Yeah, to do, and also,
of there course. Are people dying now from vaccines. There are people being sprayed with chemtrails all over the goddamn planet.
Exactly.
Don't mind to offend any Christians there, but you can help people now without chasing after aliens.
Exactly.
Okay, you can tell your family not to take the vaccine. You can tell them not to drink the fluoride water. You can grow your own food and so they don't get cancer, and so they'll have a longer life and be around you longer. Aliens are not going to provide that today. Aliens are going to not stop Rockefeller from, and they can't stop, from announcing this is too slow, and frothing at the mouth saying we need rapid depopulation. Screw that. Nothing's going to stop these people if it's got lizard scales on it. All right? The only thing that's going to stop it is you.
Yeah. It's raw
en masse.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. And the more the better, definitely. Even though the individual has great power, obviously. But yeah.
And we can't infiltrate this system. It would take decades to, and you don't even get there if they even suspect that you're honest.
I know.
They check you out for years before they invite you to the golf club.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah.
Where all the real business is done, which is apparently symbolic.
Right. Yeah.
Golf,
this was interesting.
Golf or something. Yeah.
Golf. Right. Okay.
Maybe it's not. Golf is an ancient word for name for the royal family of England. Guelphs, Bowes Lion, Saxe Coburg, Gotha, etc. But the word golf, it's symbolistic or something. That's where they do all their business meetings. And once you get up the ladder, you start. You've really gone up the ladder if you're having golf with the CEO, etc. Yeah. It's not an old boys club. It's an old murder club. It's a cult of death. The Skull and Bones cult of death. So they may initiate you and entice you in with various mysteries, and knowledge, and virtue, But it's a con. It's a cult, and you're being mugged, mentally, physically. Your whole soul is just leave. Just leave, and these orders held sway over generations in history. Wars, millions of people, must be getting on for 1 billion now.
Yeah.
Slaughtered in the name of these fat wankers.
It's disgusting. It is disgusting. And it just shows you that there is no limit to this kind of psychopathology, this evil, and that's another great...
someone just said Guelphs were in Red Dwarf.
Oh, right. Wow.
More programming. Right. We actually know one of the girls that was in Red Dwarf.
Yeah, surprisingly.
Francesca, yeah.
We met her a while ago.
Oh, we met her at a party.
Last summer, yeah.
She's a great friend of it, yeah. Simon Young, he's Reinhard von Holst.
And guess what? She's a Mason.
Oh, no! So where are we at? We've got
since we've been talking about
the weapons they've got.
Yeah. The last step is it's titled Universal. This is interesting. Universal supernatural manifestations via electronic means.
You want to run that by me again?
Universal supernatural manifestations via electronic means. So it's basically that's connected to everything. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Universal supernatural manifestations via electronics.
Yeah. So from the research that things that I've looked at, things that I've seen, it seems like it's going to be electronics used with real supernatural. And I've actually
bring on the solar flares.
Supernature for me doesn't even exist. It's
bring
just
on
nature.
the solar flares. Destroy all their equipment.
Yeah, sure.
They've probably got technology to design them so that they can get affected by solar flares and coronal ejections. They've even sexualized.
I thought they like solar flares.
They've even sexualized solar flares and like coronal ejections. Everything. It's done a lot. It's a sexualization. It's a sexualization of the culture.
Yeah.
I see it.
Sure, completely. Yeah.
Now I know what I'm looking
Phallic
for.
language.
I'm like, hang on a minute. Phallic language. All their monuments and everything.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, interesting title that. So as I was saying, from the research that I've done, it looks like they're going to be using real not say supernature, I just say nature, but real spiritual manifestations and electronic as well, using the technology that they have. So
transhumanism, once everyone's half Borg, it's going to be even easier.
Yeah, exactly. And then with a chip in your brain, they can make you, they can literally create a whole new dimensional reality for you. And,
presuming we don't have that already.
Exactly. Well, we already, you know what I mean? We do already have it, but we can get rid of it. That's the thing,
Yeah. Everyone's born with a chip in their brain and the news is telling you the truth. Okay. Line me up for my shot. I know mercury's good for my brain. I drink it every day.
Look at me.
Look at me, I'm silver.
Look at me, I'm doing really well.
Just a funny video clip. Don't worry, I'm not sending you a virus. Thank you, Peter K. Yeah, I said, not sure if I want to click on that. He may have a virus or something. Is there any other way I can see it? He said, no, it's just a funny video clip. Don't worry about it. I'm not sending you a virus. Thanks. No, I know you weren't sending me one. I'm just, with that guy, you never know what could be in it.
Yeah.
So we're on the FreeTruth show you're listening to. If you just stumbled across us, we've got Glyn, we've got Glyn, Percussionist, Glyn Hunt from Bournemouth here, south coast of England, ancient kingdom of Wessex, etc. And he does chemtrail activism days with me and helps me out with we go out together really and just inform the public.
Yeah, talk to the public.
I want to speak about that later. Remind me.
Of course, yeah.
That was empowering and it gives you hope. If you meet people and you realise you're not banging your head against a brick wall, that the majority of the public aren't completely brainwashed, although it seems that way. I know I say that a lot. Like, I think 70% of the people have gone. There's no saving them. They're just EastEnders. But we'll get to that later.
Sure. So yeah, getting back to this supernatural manifestation. Now, it has 3 different orientations from what I've looked at. And going back to the alien idea, the first one is to make mankind believe that an alien invasion is about to occur at every city on Earth in order to provoke a nuclear attack to strike back.
All the films suggest that.
I know.
All the
How many films have you seen? I know. It's incredible.
Loads. Lost count.
Where that's the scenario.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'm going to let you speak a bit more.
Yeah, of course.
I've been interrupting. It's valuable information. It must be frustrating for the listeners. So
that's fine, yeah.
Shut up, Paddy.
Yeah, and so we have, so we're just talking about nuclear weapons striking back and making mankind believe this alien invasion is about to happen. And from this, it says this way, the United Nations Court will require that all those nations which launched nuclear weapons to disarm when the invasion is shown to have been false. So it's a way of getting them to almost either be on the verge of attacking or attacking, and then disarming them and bringing people into some false sense of security.
And
because
somebody like Obama, a one world president, Obama-like figure, will take power and this can't happen again. Let's have a one world president, the one
Exactly. It's like the Antichrist, isn't it? You know, in human form or something.
Yeah.
I'm sure that will come along in some way.
Yeah.
You know, he might even come out with all the horns and all the bells and whistles.
Bells and
you know,
whistles.
like the guy on the on that phone advert. You know, Pan. They put Pan.
President Baphomet.
O2. You know, you can see Pan on that advert, can't you? Sitting under the tree. You know, he might come out in a pair of flares and some.
Oh, I'm not sure I've seen that.
Goat stilettos or something. Couple of horns and a trident. Welcome to the new age. Oh Jesus!
Welcome to the new world order. Some waiter comes up to your restaurant and says, "Can I take your new world order, sir?" Oh God, it's everywhere, isn't it? Oh, I'll have the cheese. I'll have the cheesy script with a good dose of fluoride. Easy on the mayo.
That's a fine diet. Yeah, so
liberally coated
interesting
silver solution, of course.
Yeah, of course. Interesting. So we've seen all these scenarios, haven't we? These have all been, whether we realise it or not, it's all been embedded.
Independence
many
Day,
years ago.
Yeah,
Independence Day, definitely.
Mars attacks.
Yeah, Mars attacks. 2001, Space Odyssey, Stanley Kubrick.
Emmanuel. Sorry, no.
Well, maybe that's connected. Yeah, sure. Sexualized aliens. Yeah.
Oh, that's. I'm sure there's videos of that somewhere.
But yeah. So, having just talked about that,
I have seen a clip of Nazi werewolves of the SS.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Nazi werewolf vampires of the SS, I think it was.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I know somebody was in that.
Oh dear.
The Nazification of the nation.
Oh my God. Just when you thought it didn't get any more pathetic, but yeah.
Yeah.
Here we go. So that first stage, with an alien off-world invasion and the prospect of a nuclear attack, brings us on to the second, which is the idea of a rapture and the idea of revelations. This is for the Christians, you see, and I'm in no way anti-Christian at all.
No.
I respect all faiths, spiritual paths, like I say.
Me too.
As long as it empowers an individual, that's all.
It doesn't hurt anybody.
It doesn't hurt anyone.
Exactly. Same in the sovereign movement. You know, there's a movement of freedom in the sovereign movement. They're empowering themselves with common law. It's working.
Yeah.
It doesn't work when the Nazi jackboot's on your face, but for the meantime, it's giving people a bit of breathing space in this depression that we're in. And by the way, we're in a depression, whether it's Keynesian economics or not. We're in a depression. So it gives people hope. This rapture.
It does. Yeah. It does. And unfortunately, it seems like there's an exoteric meaning obviously to it, but there's also an esoteric, and Alan Watt talks about this a lot, doesn't he? He says, it's not the exoteric which is important, it's the esoteric meaning of these events, as he says.
I've got to be honest with you, I continually get the two mixed up.
Yeah,
do you want to explain to the listeners the difference?
Yeah, sure. Exoteric is basically something that comes from without. So if we took if we took the context of knowledge, we could consider science as an exoteric pursuit because it's all about being objective and seeking answers from without. Now, if you state something like mysticism, that's subjective, so it's a pursuit from within. So that's why they call it esoteric, because it's knowledge from within. And there's many different paths, some of them bad, some of them good, some of them a mixture of both. Unfortunately, it's so complex, it's hard to get to the truth about mysticism a lot of the time because there's so much propaganda put out by the New Age movement on esoteric studies and all crystal healing and all this rubbish.
It's also a tactic of war to confuse your enemy.
Completely,
disorientate them so they can't... I can't remember, I think it was Stubblebine, he was an ex-general, and he talked about how if you've got bullets coming from different directions, you don't know where to shoot. You just keep your head down and you're in a panic. So we're being attacked on a multi-leveler attack, if you like. I'm not sure if that's a word or not, but it's a multifaceted attack, and we don't know where the bullets are coming from. So
sure.
that's a tactic of war. Psychological, well, it's a psyop.
Yeah. I think most things are, aren't they? Really. You know, whether it's the economy crashing or it's you know,
Shopping.
Mr. Bluebeam in space. You know, firing down lasers of Jesus. You know, I know the whole. Well, in fact, the sciences of the mind are the highest occult levels, aren't they? The real sciences of the mind.
Yes.
All the practice of
The
this
natural
black
sciences
magic
of the mind.
Yeah, sure. Of course, yeah.
And which any occult spells that seem to have an effect may just be technology driven from behind.
Right, sure.
You know,
sure.
it might seem like this wizard is just killed somebody with the power of their satanic worship by raising their hand, when in fact they might have a little squeezy
little
button,
matchbox on the wrist, yeah.
little
Elastic
squeezy
band
button
around
on there. Oh dear.
it. Is that what I push like?
Baseball bat.
Yeah, brilliant.
It doesn't work. Like, you're like, what are you doing? What are you doing, one? Die!
Pull the trapdoor.
We shall reign for 1,000 years, and this you will be our willing sacrifice to Lucifer. Oh, it doesn't work. What are you doing, lad? You got looks or something? Damn CIA, eBay items. Second-hand rubbish.
Yeah.
Sorry, dude.
Classic. No, not at all. Anyway.
Carry on.
Coming back to this rapture, which is basically, they're going to stage it. The rapture is basically all about another alien race, apparently,
Wow.
exists. Another one,
God, how many are
from, I don't know, Pleiades or wherever,
Mm-hmm.
coming to rescue the people of the Earth from a savage and merciless demon. That will be the
Not the
ploy.
intergalactic patrol, is
Oh
it?
my God, yeah, it could be, couldn't it?
Who's the Markabs? Oh, I just said one of the keywords that we're not allowed to say. We're going to just collapse in a pile of dust now. They're watching from Markab. Markabia.
And so,
Right, carry on. Yeah.
this idea of the rapture and this good alien force, if you like, is basically to dispose of all significant opposition to the implementation of the New World Order.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
because without this mechanism, this psyop, the blue beam, you cannot have a one world order. That is why they are so obsessed with not only creating it, like they have done, but implementing it and keeping it secret.
They'll either,
You know.
if you can't bring them on board, they'll either chip them. Sorry, if they can't bring some people on board,
Yeah. Oh, it'll be off to the camps.
it'll be off to the camps and death, or you'll just be confined to the wilderness where you'll eventually die out in one generation.
Sure,
In
sure.
the slums of, Arizona or something.
And what's actually interesting here is we haven't talked about any time scale. I don't mean by the time at which this is going to happen, but how all of this is going to be condensed, these 4 stages, and I will go back over them when we finish.
Sure.
These 4 stages, how, the time
The
reference,
next
which they're
phase
all
of the
gonna-
agenda.
Sure, yeah, because
I think we're in a large part of it now.
yeah, definitely. I think we'll get round to that actually. That'll be
Okay.
actually talking
Yeah.
the disintegration of society and all the rest of it, and how they're going to implement this.
Yeah.
If they do.
Yeah, they need to
So,
soften you up for the hammer blow.
This is it. This is the thing, isn't it? So, so just to refresh on that. On this 4th step, the first is to believe that an alien off-world invasion is about to occur. And the second is, obviously, we just talked about the rapture, with the supposed divine intervention of an alien off-world civilization coming to rescue people from this, this demonic entity, if you like. And third, if that works, the third orientation that they want to do is a mixture, and we talked about, obviously, just a moment ago, with electronic and supernatural forces. Now, this is interesting because obviously we know that they are completely fanatical about occult and occult science and philosophy and all the rest of it.
Yeah, fanatics. They are fanatics. Yeah.
If they're talking about, from the research that I've done, it seems to be pointing towards releasing actual occult forces of some sort. that's what it seems to be by using the techniques that they have,
Right.
the occult techniques.
Right.
Because they understand this, they understand how energy works. They must understand the soul to some extent.
They feel
and what it
they
is.
may have the technology, or not even the technology, but to unleash, like an army of darkness, entities or something.
Yeah,
we know that John Dee, who was Queen Elizabeth I spy and top advisor in a very openly Masonic court, was 007. That was his spy number, and he communicated with, claimed to be communicating with entities that wanted blood, and in return for showing them how to extract all the minerals from the planet, etc. And just basically, here's your reward. You can rule the world. Here's how you do it. We want your minerals and blood sacrifices, which is a large part of what war is, actual ritual sacrifice. Okay, welcome back to the Free Truth Show on These Changing Times Radio. We were cut off there for a couple of minutes, and what Glyn was saying was about, we were talking about the occult and the differences and the warnings that Glyn was giving us about looking into becoming interested in the symbolism of the occult. And I just wanted to, and the planet is run by top occultists who don't want us to have knowledge of how to empower ourselves and defend ourselves and be the beings that we should be, not hurting people at the same time. We're seekers of knowledge, and we demand it. So there are many traps. We're seeking it now. There are many traps, and a lot of negative press about people just searching for knowledge. We're not advocating that you should get into the occult, but we're saying if you do, then be careful, because there are many traps for you to fall into. Things like the Harry Potter films is training you to be into the darker forces of the occult or hidden mystery schools, etc. And so you're being played for your own slaughter there and programmed. Would you like to clear up and repeat pretty much what you were saying before we got so rudely interrupted by the gremlins?
Yeah, I'll just add on to what you were saying there. I was basically saying the occult, talking about it in a positive and negative sense.
Yeah.
Obviously, talking about the positive aspects of the occult, which is just, we know, just means hidden, or below the surface of our consciousness. It's often connected with, a lot of what goes on subconsciously with us, which is very, very important. We've been trained to sort of over-rationalize, and be overly intellectual. I mean, that's obviously the result of this scientific dictatorship as well. Yeah. And you see, what that's actually done is almost compartmentalized us from using our intuition and these abilities that we do have, which are essentially, I'm not commercializing them or glamorizing them in any way. Oh my God, you can go out and see angels and demons.
I'm concerned.
You can be a spirit guide. And
I'm concerned that people are being programmed and led down the wrong path.
Exactly. And essentially all these abilities have ever been survival mechanisms. They're there for you to survive.
I believe telepathy is true, and that's a survival mechanism.
Completely, yeah.
If you're in the jungle and you don't feel right, you've got a bad feeling, you turn around and another, a cougar's coming for you to tear you back with his claws.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
because he's sneaking up on you, but if you can sense it, that's what it is.
Yeah, completely. That's because your subconscious mind is operating in a different. Basically, it's operating on a wider sphere of reality. Mm-hmm. That's why you can sometimes know the time without looking at the clock, and you might get really good at it.
All the time.
I'm sure everybody's had this, where you may be laying on your bed or
phone
goes,
in your house. Etc. Yeah.
You think about someone, and then they're ringing on the phone, or you think about someone you haven't seen for 10 years, and then you meet them walking down the street in town, or something like that.
Yeah, happened yesterday. Yeah.
I can't explain how this works completely, but I know quantum science is getting closer to understanding how we function.
One thing we did learn from somebody we know is that, and I thought they made a good point. We won't mention who it was, a bit deluded, but they mentioned about an affinity. Telepathy is more powerful when you have an affinity.
When a resonance with another being, that's right.
And we're not hippies sitting here discussing, ooh, save the trees, man.
No, this is real knowledge.
See that?
This is real knowledge.
We're avoiding that. We're trying to illustrate, really. I think that's what we're doing here. We're trying to illustrate the traps that people may fall into. And one trap is that the occult, or the search for knowledge,
or powers,
is dark itself.
Yeah.
And when occult just means hidden, that's another trick.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. To steer you away from. Yeah, of course.
There must be people who understand these forces utterly.
Yeah.
And don't want people to have it.
Yeah, completely.
And because I want to be the person I'd like to be. I'd like to be more confident. I'd like to, but I'm not going to perform some spell or occult ritual, or blood sacrifice of a chicken or something over a bowl and a funny circle to.
Yeah. It's pathetic
to achieve that.
Yeah, you don't. It's. I mean, that's a different subject on the occult altogether, obviously. But obviously, just touching. I mean, we'll have to do another. I'll have to come back and do
I can't believe the time's flown.
I know.
Okay, so can we sum up? Project BLUEBEAM, bullshit. Alien agenda, bullshit. Gaia, bullshit.
Yes.
New Age, bullshit. Anything else?
Well, I think you probably pretty much mentioned it all there, I think.
So we could have done the whole show in like 10
aliens,
seconds.
Definitely, yeah.
So we could have done the whole show in like 10 seconds. bullshit. Good night, folks.
Yeah, so, please, everybody out there, please research the alien agenda, Project BLUEBEAM, and all of these...
20 minutes left, actually, I think.
All of these theories regarding the fact that we, all this evidence regarding we came from aliens, and they've had some sort of genetic... I'm not totally against that idea.
We need to look at that further, yeah.
Because it's so convincing on one hand. But
I think it's worth starting with the famous figures who've been exposed already.
Yeah,
is regarding
that's what
DNA.
That's what made me cynical about it in the first place. It's kind of because I know some of these guys are frauds. I'm not mentioning any names, but it seems.
Well, Van Daniken.
Obviously for one.
I mean, we know Madame Blavatsky, who was an occultist. Father was a
huge figure,
a massive Freemason, a big Freemason in Russia.
Yeah.
And caught numerous times faking her seances, and some journalist jumped up, put the light on, it was a woo, but that didn't matter, she still carried on, and she's a big figure now, and respected, like Anton LaVey or Aleister Crowley was respected, and we know what kind of people they are.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry if Aleister Crowley is your god, but he liked little boys, didn't he?
He did, apparently, yeah. It wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me. They have no morals. They have no, in fact, well, they're...
Sorry, I meant to say
they call it
intergenerational, recreation.
They're amoral, aren't they? There is no right and wrong. It's literally just one act, and if it serves the purpose of their desire, then it's divine. So...
Okay, well, apparently we've got 5 minutes, because we started at 1:45. So,
right, cool.
5 minutes to the end. Yeah, okay. So, don't forget, folks, join us in Portsmouth for the Chemtrail Info Day. It's March the 10th, Saturday, from 11 a.m. at Gun Wharf Quays, meeting by the Cannon, if it's still there. If not, it's just by the Spinnaker Tower from 11 a.m. Bring lots of flyers. If you can. Bring banners, make some banners, and let's make a bit of a stink and a bit of noise, bring some drums, and it's not a protest, it's just an info day where we're giving out, it's a celebration under common law, and they can't stop us doing that. So we call it a celebration, Chemtrail Info Day celebration, so I don't know what that is in split up into letters. We'll find some catchy name for it or something. It's normally Skid, isn't it? Skid. What was it? Southampton Chemtrail Info Day. Skid. That was Skid. So was Salisbury. That was like Skid 2.
Yeah, that's dicks backwards as well.
Is it? No. Is it?
Skid, yeah. Well, corrupted form, I guess.
I didn't even realise that, man. Why don't you tell me?
I just realised, bro.
Yeah. Oh, man.
It's code word. Phallic code word.
God,
That was a joke, not really, man. Not really. Fucking not.
I don't know, I haven't worked out yet. I haven't got a pen.
No, I mean, that's real. I'm just saying it's not a code word.
Oh, yeah. Right, oh, yeah. Oh, yes, D-I-K-S, yeah. I can't do anything backwards, you know what I mean? Anyway, numbers, etc. Oh! Okay, well, that's just totally blown me away. No pun intended. All right, we're getting off the scale here, you know. Right, so FreeTruth show back on Monday at 9 p.m. and it's been an absolute pleasure to have you tonight, Glyn.
Thank you.
Sweet.
Thank you.
Nice one.
Thank
man.
you for having me on. It's been brilliant.
Thank you. Oh, I am having you on. Hey, alien's a real mate. Mate, I'm going to peel off in a minute. Reveal thyself. The grand revelation. Why do people do that inside, by the way? There's no wind.
No, it's habit, isn't it?
It's a hard habit to breathe. All right, so join us, Portsmouth Chemtrail Info Day. Yeah, and that's it. Just chemtrails are absolutely off the scale, proper humanicide, and we've got to wake people up.